Who is going to take the spoils? We are about to find out as we are racing into turn 1. Contact between the two. 3 wide into turn 3. Sideways Doyden. Still contact happening through turn number 2. What a great bit of deft touch of the wheel that was. He's gone from the inside and he's taken the lead.
Hey guys, it's Simon from redlinemotorsport.co.uk. Today we have the Esports WTCR 2019 series. This is the RaceRoom's official esports race. We are commentating and streaming server 2. So there'd be myself commentating, Simon, and Jake. Hello Jake.
Hi Simon, how are you today?
Not too bad myself. How about you?
Yeah, good. Forward to a cracking couple of races.
That's it. So yeah, so what an opportunity this is to obviously stream an official esports league. So this is round 1. This is at Hungaroring. So this is server 2, as RaceRoom will be streaming server 1. So we've got some pretty fast guys here at the moment in server 2. So we've got just under 12 minutes of practice. It's got 15 minutes qualifying, and then we've got 2 races of 25 minutes. The second race will be reverse top 10 order, so this will be should make it really interesting and mix it up a bit with the with race 2 being the top 10 reverse. So let's see how this plans out. So at the moment, Elmar's got the fastest lap time of a 151.3 at the moment. So, yeah, welcome to the stream there, Blood Wolf. Appreciate that. Hello. So, yeah, we are streaming to YouTube and Twitch, so don't forget to obviously like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitch. That would be much appreciated. Thank you. So, yeah, so we've got race 1 today. Next Sunday, around the same time, will be race 2. And then I think we've got a week break. And then we're back to round 3 a week after that. But I will put the dates up at some point to let you guys know. So not much going on at the moment because it's still practice. So anything can happen when it comes to qualifying. So we'll just keep an eye on the times at the moment. But as I said, Elmar is currently holding P1. We've got Bentz in P2 at the moment, just under 2 tenths behind. He's just improved there. So
yeah, we have the whole grid covered by only 2.7 seconds, and that being practice, should see the times come a lot closer when we get into qualifying as well.
Absolutely,
so amazingly tight times for 30-odd drivers.
Yeah, so we've still got 2 drivers not set a time yet. So we just have to wait and see how they're doing. So yeah, welcome Frosty Bird. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave the donation goal up there. So if anyone's fancies, obviously leaving a donation, that'd be much appreciated. So I'm on board with Diego at the moment. He's in the Hyundai. So current fastest lap time at the moment, he's managed a 152.257. That's his fastest time at the moment.
It's on their personal best for this lap, so hopefully we'll see an improvement by him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe he managed to move himself up a position there. All the drivers still finding time at the minute and tweaking final setups ready for qualifying, and indeed the race.
Absolutely. So like I said, there's not much between them at the moment. So 2.7 seconds from P1 to P28 at the moment. But like I said, this is obviously practice. I mean, a lot of these guys have been practicing all day today, looking at the servers. So yeah, it should be pretty good to see how they do in the qualifying.
Yeah, all the drivers will be hungry to stamp their authority on top spot today.
This is it, yeah. So Hungaroring is one of my favourite tracks actually, especially in RaceRoom as well. I do enjoy racing a selection of cars on this track. So it's definitely one of my favourite ones for sure.
Yeah, definitely quite a challenging circuit. Mid to fast corner speed corners with a rather large braking zone, but you have got quite a large straight, so it does give opportunity for some quite good overtakes down to turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because turn 1's quite wide, so as long as you're good on your brakes, you can definitely gain a few spots there into T1.
Yeah, the rest of the track not so easy to pass, but definitely some unorthodox areas which you can get some passes on if you can create the opportunity.
That's it. So, yeah, guys, if you've got any questions, do obviously post them in the chats. I'll be looking over the stream, the Twitch chat, and Jake will be looking over the YouTube chat. So, yeah, if you've got any questions about RaceRoom, our community, Redline Motorsport, anything like that, then obviously just post in there and ask questions. At the moment, we've got just over well over 1,400 members now across selection of PC games that we play. So, RaceRoom's been one of our most popular games titles. So definitely worth grabbing that if you do. We do have some links to how to get the game, for a reasonable price to get all the content. So do obviously check that out when you come in and join our Discord. You'll see some information in the RaceRoom chat channel for that. So, and I definitely find obviously the WTC and WTCR cars are definitely one of the better cars in RaceRoom compared to other sims. I'll say for front wheel drive cars, you definitely get the feeling through the force feedback of these cars. So definitely a lot of fun to drive these cars.
Yeah, you always get the closest racing with the touring cars, being that everyone's times are so close. It offers up some of the best racing we see.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've had some awesome racing with these cars, including the 2018 series as well. So yeah, it's definitely some great racing to be had, especially looking at the table at the moment. With times being so close, so we should be in for an interesting first race, and definitely the second race when it gets mixed up with top 10 reversed. So that's going to be really good to see.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how the reverse grid works out. Some of the faster guys having to make the progress through to see if they can get back on the podium.
That's it. So yeah, answer your question there, Blood Wolf. Most run cars right now, to be honest, there's quite a lot of really good ones. DTM 92s, I mean, they are probably one of the best cars we've probably raced, to be honest. I mean, that's every time we run a championship with those cars, it gets maxed out. We get a full grip of them. Same with the WTCRs. I mean, they're really, really good fun. And including obviously the multi-class races we do. So GT3s are pretty awesome. So it's good to obviously have a nice selection there. So we have got quite a few events up if you want to check out the website. So we've got an endurance race with the Group 5s and Group C cars. That's going to be pretty awesome. That's at the North Schleife. That's a 2-hour race. So do check that out. So the website is www.redlinemotorsport.co.uk. So yeah, you can sign up to any races there, and that's all linked to Discord. So as soon as you sign up and register there, you get sent straight over to our Discord server. So it's a pretty good, good little tool that. But anyway, going back to this esports race, there's just under 4 minutes now of practice, and then I said we've got 15 minutes qualify, and then it's 2 25-minute races. The second race being reverse top 10 reverse order. So I just noticed there that Bentz has now managed to close that gap even more. So he's now just under 900ths of a second off of Elmar in P1.
It's great to see we've got 20 drivers just over a second apart. That's incredible consistency from these guys.
That's it. Like I said, this is only practice yet, so qualifying is where it's really going to start to mix it up. Oh, what's the most... Oh, in the car right now... that's a tough question, actually. I'm just going to need to count these up. I think the
Hyundai is quite a popular choice at the minute. Also, a fair few VWs and Audis. There's a good selection of cars out on the grid today. It's not like the drivers are all favouring one car or one's quicker than another. They all seem to be very evenly matched, which is great to see all the different manufacturers out there.
That's right, yeah. So
being able to get the same times.
That's it. We've got a couple of Hondas out there. So, yeah, mainly, I said Audis, Hyundais, Volkswagens. That's the main sort of cars at the moment. And the Lincoln Co car that's on screen now. There's a few people running that car today.
I think that's what's so great about this championship is it doesn't really matter what car you pick. You've got a chance of being able to put the fastest times in with any of the cars.
Absolutely, that's right.
And what's also great about the two sprint races that we're having today is that we won't see anybody tyre saving or fuel saving. It's going to be a straight slog.
Yes, it's all out.
Giving it 100% all the way.
That's it. So yeah, I've noticed in our leagues when we've been racing the 2018 cars here back along, the tyre wear, especially with front wheel drive cars on this track, was extremely high. So you know, after a 25-minute race, you was literally, you know, we might have been running actually 2 times tyre wear, if I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was 2 times or 1 times, but the tyre wear was absolutely incredible. So yeah, they do have to look after their tyres if that is the case of the 2019 cars. I'd have to double check that.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see the guys running flat out for 20 minutes here. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's nice to see such a full group. We've got 29 drivers in at the moment. Looks like one of them's dropped out. Hopefully he manages to get back in for the qualifying. So we did have 30 drivers, but we're now down to 29.
It's a brilliant turnout with drivers from all over the world taking part today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only 15 seconds left now. The guys will be just finishing off their final laps, getting ready for the first qualifying session.
That's it. So we've got Almar, who's P1 at the moment, Bent's P2, Kaus is P3, Alexander's P4, and Salvin's P5 at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do in qualifying, if we can keep the same sort of board as what we've just seen in practice. So we'll just wait and see who's going to be the first out. So it looks like... So we actually got an Alfa Romeo here as well. So it looks like Bent's is the first one out at the moment. And then you've got Almir just behind.
Looks like they're all fighting for who's going to get the first go at getting their first time up on the board. I'm sure we'll see later on in the lap they will all start to back off a little bit and give themselves some space, but still fighting for who's going to get to go first at the present time.
That's it. Absolute favourite car, blood. I don't know, to be honest, they're all just as good as each other. The Audi's really good. I mean, the Hyundai's brilliant. Volkswagen's good. I mean, they're all pretty good cars. I mean, the BOP does help, you know, to keep the cars well balanced, balanced performance. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there is a better car really. I think they're all as good as each other, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So if you're definitely jumping one, you're going to love them anyway. So whichever one you do end up buying, or if you do buy the whole pack, I mean, like I said, you ain't going to be disappointed. I mean, they're all pretty good with their own sort of characteristics.
Yeah, I think that's why we see such a varied field today. It's down to driver preference. There is no one solution.
That's right, yeah. So just come around the final corner there. So Bence will be starting his hot lap. So he's the first one starting his hot lap with Elmar just behind, who will just be coming over the start-finish line to start his hot lap. So this is where it's going to start to get more interesting now. So as everyone's out on grid at the moment. So I did run the high-end I in the 2018 series, and that was one of my favourite cars on this track. But like I said, I mean, different cars, different tracks. They all said all got their advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm currently running the BMW in the 13 category, which we don't think we have any rear-wheel drives. I don't think the Audi is rear-wheel drive, is it?
No, it's all front-wheel drive. The later cars.
All front-wheel drive.
It's only the older WTCC series that had the BMW, which is rear-wheel drive. So yeah, so definitely obviously mixed it up back then with the old WTCC.
Yeah, the BMW is a great fun car to drive, but you do see quite a differences with the starts and some other areas with the different drivetrains. Maybe that's why they've gone more towards sticking with all front-wheel drives to make it easier to run close together.
So we just come around turn 13. So the last corner now, tell you 14. So we'll see how Bence manages. So Bence has actually improved from his qualifying lap. So he's now managed a 1:51.9. Elmar's taken the lead at the moment with a 1:51.3. So he's over 6 tenths up at the moment. Sanders now taken P3. With William in P4. Bence is P5. I'll just say we have got 2 Bences in here. So we've got so yeah, standings are changing at every car coming off. It looks like one person's just gone off track at T1. So it looks like Elmar is well ahead of the lead at the moment. So no one's coming close to his times right now. So I mean, the times we were getting a minute ago in the practice were high 151s. So yeah, it looks like Elmar might be lucky to hold pole for the start of race 1.
Yeah, that's a great opening lap by him. Managed to put it down straight away on his first flying lap, so he's set a really good marker there for the other drivers to try and get close to.
This is it. So I mean, the top 3 at the moment are still showing similar to what there was in the practice. So yeah, Elmar P1, Bence P2, and Klaus in P3 at the moment. Yeah, I think as you said there, Blood Wolf, I think this is very hard to say, isn't it? Which is the better car? Like I said, I mean they're all going to be good in their home tracks. So Alexander's now managed to take P2, so he's slowly closing that gap. Still 5 tenths behind Elmar at the moment. So that's put Bentz up to P3. Salvin has now taken P4, so Klaus, who was P3 earlier, is now up to P6. So we've had quite a bit of a change so far. So still just over 8 minutes left of qualifying. So anything can happen in the next 8 minutes. So yeah, so just Klaus, as I was saying, he was running P3 a minute ago, but he's been pushed back up to P6. So at the moment it's the Alpha that's leading, followed by Alexander in the Audi. Bentz is in the Hyundai, same as Salvin's Hyundai. We've got Robin now with P5, who's in the Volkswagen, and Klaus is in the Audi. So 25 of 29 drivers have set a time so far. We did have 30 to start with during the practice. I don't know if there was an issue with one of the drivers who dropped out, or whether he's still trying to get into the lobby, I don't know. But unfortunately we're down to 29 at the moment.
Well, hopefully with 7 minutes still remaining, they've got time to get themselves back in and possibly even still get a time on the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just follow it.
Just looking at Elmar's time, I mean, he's still 5 tenths ahead. He's set a cracking lap there at the moment. So it's going to be very hard for the other guys to try and beat that time at the moment.
Yeah, I've just been on board with Bentz for that last lap. Wasn't able to increase his lap time there. He's definitely trying hard though. Might be a course of over trying now for that extra time.
Yeah, so Bentz is obviously needs to try and gain an extra just over 1/10 to try and grab P2 again. So we'll keep an eye on him at the moment. Sector times are it looks like Elmar's holding the fastest first sector at the moment with 39.1. Closest to that is Bentz with a 39.2. And then sector 2, Elmar's again fastest there with 1 minute 12.1.
Yeah, Bentz has just done a 1:12.3, so he's 2 tenths off at the present time. If he can keep this up over this lap, we could see him take P2 here. We'll be down to his final sector here. So he's now coming into the penultimate corner. Managed to keep it nice and tight. Good exit. One more corner to go.
I'll jump on board with Benson and see if he does make a difference, because he said he is up at the moment, 2 tenths up in sector 2.
It's been a nice neat lap. We'll see. We might well see him take P2 here.
Yep, so he's just managed to grab P2. So Benson's now back up to P2. So there's still
a good lap there by him.
Behind Elmar at the moment. But this is what's going to be really interesting, because race 2, being reverse top 10, that's really going to mix things up, because obviously these guys are going to have a bit of traffic to fight to get through. So this is going to be where it's going to be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, quality is quite important around here, being the majority of the track is quite hard to pass. So, like you say, this qualification is quite important. Then come race 2, if you find yourself in 10th, it's not going to be so easy to have such a great finishing position.
No, that's it. So still only 27 drivers of 29 have set a time so far. So we've got Valentine and Janos is not set a time yet at the moment. So yeah, the times are definitely changing now. So now Arwin's now up to P5. Got Robin in P6. Diego's now P7. Klaus is now down to P8. So he's dropped down 5 positions now, Klaus has. So Alwyn's just managed to beat his time there. He's now taken P2. So that's put him 3 tenths behind the leader at the moment. Which now pushed back Bentz to P3 and Alexander to P4 now. Oh, looks like I got some ping issue with one of the drivers. Just flashing in and out there. So hopefully that don't become a problem in the race. So Valentine's the last one to set a lap time at the moment. So he's just under 3 tenths off on the sector 1 time that he has tried previously. So I will stay on board with him for a minute and just see if he does actually get a good time in. So he's one of the last people to get a time at the moment. 39.3. So he's 2 tenths off the leader's pace at the moment because sector 1 was 39.12 from the leader. Plus 8 tenths up on the second, 112.9. Yeah, so he's 8 tenths off the leader's time as well. That.
It's great to see so many drivers within such a small delta. I mean, 2 seconds to cover 28 drivers is that's brilliant to see that.
Yeah, like I say, even with our touring car races in RaceRoom and in other games, you know that this. It's such close racing with these cars. It just makes it so much fun. I mean, literally, you can be door to door to each other. You know, going 3 wide into corners. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So Valentine's managed to set a lap time. That's put him up to P20 at the moment.
With only a minute left, should see the last times being posted now.
That's it. Yeah. So just under a minute left for qualifying, and then we've got the race 1, which is 25 minutes long. And then they have race 2 just after that, which would be top 10 reverse. So that will make it very interesting for the second race. But leader at the moment is Elmar. At the moment, like I said, he's had a cracking time there. No one's come close to that at the moment. So we're 151.3. Arwin's in P2 at the moment. Bentz is P3. Alexander's P4. Salvin in P5 and William P6. So there we are. So there's the qualifying standings there. So Elmar's taken P1, I'd say. Alwyn's for P2, Bent's P3, Alexander P4, and Salvin for P5. So we've got three Hyundais up there in the top 5, followed by an Audi.
Again,
and,
3 manufacturers in the top 5. That's it's a great spread to see.
That's it. So, yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Don't forget to obviously follow us on Twitch and like and subscribe on YouTube because we are streaming to both platforms. This is obviously the RaceRoom WTCR 2019 Esports event. This is server 2 that we're streaming, as RaceRoom is streaming the main server 1. So yeah, don't forget to follow us. That'd be great. Thank you. So this is where it's going to get really interesting, especially with T1 here at Hungaroring, because this corner can gain a lot of places, and if you are too late on the brakes, it will send you off wide. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see what happens here at T1, especially with 29 cars on the grid.
Oh, they're all very good drivers, so hopefully we'll see a clean T1. Plenty of passes down into turn 1. And we'll
Absolutely.
see.
And we're off. So Almar's still holding P1 at the moment. Bence is in behind for P2. Alwyn's had a bit of a bad start. We started him from P2 now down to P5. So a little bit of contact there. A couple of guys have just gone a bit wide, unfortunately, but nothing too
Have
bad.
managed to
So a couple of
continue.
guys have gone wide, but they managed to still be in the race. So that's not too bad going there. So Bence is now taking a lead. Almar's in P2 at the moment, but he's got the inside line here. So there might be a bit of a change around as Almar's now just taken P1. Bence is now P2. Arwin's now P3. Alexander's in P4. So as we come down to T4.
It's great to see that Almar, he lost their position initially, but with some clever tactics, he managed to get that back after a couple of corners. Some great driving shown there by Almar.
This is it, yeah. So Almar's doing pretty well there with Bence right on his back end at the moment. Alexander is P4, with Arwin is in P3 at the moment. So we just jump on board. So we've got a bit of onboard footage there with Bence putting the pressure on Almar at the moment. Bence tries to be sneaky there, trying to take the inside line there, but unfortunately doesn't gain a position, so he still manages to stay P2.
So there's some unfortunate contact midfield. We saw Ellison some contact in the penultimate corner, and he's unfortunately lost a good 10 positions or so there, but he's managed to get going again. Hopefully he can get back into the race.
This is it, yeah. So it looks like Salvin's having some ping issues because these cars flicking in and out there. So that's going to be pretty off-putting for other drivers. So we're still on board with Bence at the moment. So it's pretty clean through T1 now as they come around for lap 2.
Nice to see the majority of the drivers are all still continuing. It's a nice clean start by the majority.
That's it, but the battle is on at the moment between Bence and Almar at the moment. So it's whether the Almar can actually hold this this position, you know, with this having to defend as well to keep his pole position at the moment. So thanks for the follow there, Darcy. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great quali lap by him, but quali laps and race pace are two other things. So we'll see how he deals with the pressure.
That's it. So Robin's now managed to take P7 off Alexander. So they're flicking around a bit at the moment. But it looks like he's no, it looks like Alexander's now managed to get P7 back off him. But the battle's still on with Bence and Elmar at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't think the race director can actually catch up with all the overtakes at the moment. There's about 4 overtakes going on right at the same time.
So much action going on at the minute. This is brilliant.
This is it. So this is the slightly changed now. So Lee's now up to P4. So he's managed to gain a few positions. Alexander, who started P3, is now down to P8. Klaus is now P5 when he started P8. So this is pretty good so far. Been pretty clean actually, not too much contact going on.
I believe we've just had a drive-through penalty awarded for one of the drivers for corner cutting.
So that's a shame. So that's not the Bences in P2. That is actually when the board stops. Yeah, that's Bence in P10, unfortunately. So if he's got a drive-through penalty, that's not very good. There's a bit of contact there with as Klaus has just gone sent wide into T2 there. There's a bit of a battle going on with P8 at the moment with Sandor and Alexander. So So it looks like one of the Volkswagens just gone a bit wide there. But I mean, it's just awesome to see that. Like I said, with these cars, these touring cars, you can have such awesome close battles like this. You know, it just makes the racing so much fun when you've got decent drivers, you know, racing together like this.
Yeah, exactly. We're just in Sinan in P12 made up position into the chicane. It's a great pass on the brakes, nice and clean.
That's it. So we just jump back to Bence at the moment, P2. He's still putting the pressure. He's not letting Elmar get away. So this is where Elmar's literally got to be racing for the next, just under 20 minutes to maintain his pole position, and hopefully he doesn't flake under pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Just in another pass. Dirk has managed to make another position up. He's gone from P18 up to P17. And now trying to work his way up to the little pack ahead. They're all battling pretty hard.
This is it. So yeah, some pretty awesome races at the moment. So looks like Jan's about to try and make the move on Willem as he's taken the inside line.
If he can keep it around the outside, it will gain the inside down to the next turn.
That's it. But T2, this is where obviously Willem has got the inside line here, but has Jan got enough to keep it there? As he's got the inside line for T3. So yeah, Jan manages to take the overtake there. So that's now put him up to P19. So
great pass. There's a bit of action going on from the P6 downwards. So we saw a pair of them go wide. The two from behind have managed to take advantage of that.
Just shoot off, completely missed the chicane there. So Diego's putting the pressure on the other Bence, but Bence in front has got a drive-through penalty to serve. So he's got to serve that in the next lap or so. Otherwise he ends up getting disqualified.
See, Bence is still keeping the pressure on to Elmar at the front, not giving him a break.
This is it. So Dirk's putting a bit of pressure on at the moment for P16 on Valentine at the moment. It looks like Valentine's got the inside line there. So Valentine comes down, takes the inside line for T1, so this should gain a position off of full P. For P14, so yeah, so Valentine's just managed to do that nice overtake off Emmanuel there. So all the battling at the moment is going on sort of mid-pack at the moment, from about sort of P15 to P17 at the moment. The gaps are sort of closed down a bit with the front runner, so we'll jump back to Bence in a minute, as there is about 8 tenths between him and Elmar at the moment for the leader. Some pretty awesome racing going on. Yeah, thanks for the follow there, mate. I didn't see that 5 minutes ago, so I appreciate that. Thank you. So Salvin's having a bit of a battle with Arwin at the moment for P3, both in the high-end eyes.
I'm sorry to hear that, Aman. We've had a post from Aman. He was supposed to be racing today, and he's had problems with RaceRoom and hasn't been able to join. So that would be our 30th driver that wasn't able to get in, though he did try. So hopefully we'll have better luck next time and he'll be able to race.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, he was in earlier, I do believe, so hopefully he'll be able to get that sorted next time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to jump over to Emmanuel, because Emmanuel is having a bit of a battle at the moment for P16. might have to jump back to Salva in a minute for P4 because he's closing the gap as well with Arwin. So I might have to jump back there because these guys are getting really close, almost bumper to bumper at the moment. So having a really good battle here with the Hyundais.
Yeah, Manuel didn't manage to make the pass in the end down to turn 1. He thought better of it. I mean, he's going to continue the attack on for the rest of the lap.
So that's Emmanuel P17 at the moment, who's having a battle a minute ago with P16.
Indeed, yes.
So just staying on board with Salvin at the moment because again, so these guys are almost bumper to bumper at the moment. So hopefully Salvin can try and force Alwyn to make a mistake. As Alwyn's obviously got to drive defensively now and obviously protect his lines.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to get as close as he can for the run up to the last corner. To take advantage of the long straight and see if he can get some slipstream down to turn 1 and make the pass there.
Yeah, to be honest, you don't get much toe with these cars though.
Looks like he's gearing up for it
Alvin's
already.
more composed as he comes through T13. So he tries to grab the inside line, a little bit of contact there, but he still holds the inside line. So this is going to be interesting as they come down the pitch straight. So at the moment it's showing Salvin's now P3. But Arwin has got slightly ahead, but Salvin has got the inside line for T1. So this is where Arwin needs to play it sort of cautiously here and not too much time. But it looks like Salvin has managed to make the pass nice and clean. I don't think Arwin's going to get the inside line.
He's still having a
There's
look.
a bit of contact, a little bit of contact, but Alvin has managed to grab P3 back. So this has been pretty awesome with these guys. Some great racing between these two at the moment.
Yeah, a bit of contact both ways really, so it's pretty fair that they're back in the same positions as they were before the contact. Hopefully they'll continue to battle it out nice and cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, but this is obviously touring cars. I mean, there's always a bit of door-to-door contact with these cars anyway. You know, there's nothing aggressive there at all. They're very well aware of their surroundings. So there's some awesome racing going on at the moment. So we're just going to jump back to P24 at the moment because there's a bit of a change around at the moment with another Emmanuel with Zhang. So some pretty close racing going on right across the grid at the moment. So we've got about 10 drivers under a second apart of each other. So it's going to get pretty interesting in a minute as we come 12 minutes left of race 1. So just I'm going to do a Valentine because he's literally 2/10 off of Sanen at the moment.
Yeah, we've got an incredible train of drivers here. Any one of these could make a fair bit of progress if they keep their head down.
That's correct, but looking at P1 at the moment, just jump on and give him a bit of some more screen time. So he's now managed to open that gap up. So he's now almost 1.6 seconds ahead of P2 now. So he's given a nice clean run without having to worry too much with pressure behind him. So being very consistent at the moment. He's holding the fastest lap of the race by the looks at the moment at 151.8.
There was a small mistake down into turn 1 by one of the drivers, and Valentin was able to get one of the positions in the end.
He did, yes. So he's
now P13.
P13, that's right.
Right on the back of P12 and hoping to get the pass done to lead this little pack, and he may be able to branch the gap up to the pack of drivers up ahead, P10 and P11, who are already battling it out at the minute.
This is it. So yeah, so we've got some nice groups of cars, you know, across the grid that are having really good battles at the moment. So I just want to jump over to Dirk at the moment because Dirk is closing that gap as well in P15. So Dirk is putting the pressure on with Sinan as well at the moment. So just want to jump back to Salvin because it looks like he's putting the pressure on Alwyn again at the moment, as they've just come up to just under 2 tenths between each other. So it's going to be a pretty awesome race between these guys battling out for P3 at the moment. So I just want to jump back to...
Yeah, they've also got a back marker ahead of them, so that could make things slightly interesting, giving Slavan maybe a chance to pass back.
Absolutely.
The back marker's got cleanly out of the way. He's seen them coming, giving them plenty of room. That's very good to see there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good race now. I'll jump back to Dirk again, because again he is closing the gap there with Sinan at the moment. I might have to jump back to Abraham because he was closing the gap there, but looks like the gap slightly opened there. Williams closing the gap on Jan at the moment for P19. I mean, overall, the race has been very, very clean. Only a little bit of contact here and there. A couple of cars have gone off, but yeah, overall, it's been a pretty awesome race considering the grid. So we've had 3 people retire at the moment. So Kevin's retired, Rico's retired, and the other Benson's retired at the moment. So it looks like Alwyn's made a big mistake. He's now dropped back to P6. Alwyn's taken P3, which has then pushed Alexander up to P4 and Sandor up to P5. So I'm not sure what happened there, unfortunately. Unfortunately, just missed that change around. But Alwyn's now putting the pressure on to grab P5 back.
Been keeping an eye on Valentin over this past lap, but he's been ever slowly getting closer to Balzar. As he comes out the last turn, he's quite close. Wonder if he'll have the opportunity to make a pass this time round down to turn 1.
This is it. So Klaus is trying to close the door on Junio at the moment.
Valentin has used the slipstream to his advantage. He pulled out. He has the inside line down to turn 1. On the brakes, he makes the pass. Very nice and clean.
So Valentin's just managed to hit the pass. Awesome.
A little bit of free air in front of him now, and see if he can bridge the gap to P11.
That's it. So just on board with
Keep
Robin
an eye
at
on
the
that.
moment. So Robin's having a bit of a battle with Sandor at the moment for P6. Looks like Elmar's increased that lead now to almost 3 seconds. His relative's just dropping down, so we just have to wait till that corrects itself at the moment. But
it's a great battle for P5 going on here with these 4 drivers.
yeah, we're on board with them at the moment. Just keep an eye on a couple of the guys near the back. They're having a bit of a battle. So just going to jump over to P17 at the moment. So there's some interesting battling going on between there. So Luthor is still holding P16. So we've got William and Jan at the moment, all having a good battle in the midfield at the moment. So again, Robin's slowly trying to close that gap on Sandor at the moment as they're coming 2 tenths between them. Oh, looks like Robin's just made a big mistake there. It's locked off and gone into the barrier, so that's going to cost him quite a bit of time. So unfortunately, that's took him out of the battle there with Sandor. That's dropped him back 2 places now. So just jump on board with Willem because he's closing the gap here with Jan at the moment. So this group of 4 guys here are having a really good battle. So with Abraham, Willem, Jan, and Vittorio. Just going to jump over to Klaus because he's closing the gap as well at the moment with Diego. So
yeah, he's been all over the back of P9 in this last lap. Hasn't managed to find an opening yet. but he keeps trying hard.
I just want to jump over to Sinan at the moment because he's running P14. He's closing the gap here with Balaz in P13. So pretty awesome, interesting race at the moment. Just nearly 4.5 minutes left of the race of race 1, and then so we've got race 2, which is top 10 reverse. So this is going to be a bit of a game changer for the final leaderboard. But looking at the times at the moment, Elmar is still holding pole, almost 3 seconds ahead of P2. So very composed and not having to worry about defending. So he's managing to really open that gap at the moment. So Emmanuel putting a bit of pressure on at the moment with Janus and P22.
We got Dirk in P15 trying to line up for a pass down to turn 1. Thinks better of it this time around.
So he's just tucked himself back out. That's fair enough. So we've got 2 Emmanuels at the moment battling out with each other. So for P22 and P24.
Yes, indeed. Are we going to see a pass?
So nothing too much at the moment. Again, these two are really having a good battle here. 2 different cars, the Honda and the Hyundai. So these guys are battling out for P23 at the moment. So just on board with Klaus for the moment for P10, as he's still trying to have a bit of a battle with Diego for P9 currently.
Just had Marcel have a little off-track excursion, but he managed to keep out of the barrier and has just kept position, but has lost a fair bit of track time. He'll soon have this pack from P21 downwards on the back of him soon, so he'll have to start thinking about possibly taking defensive lines, as Zhao will be catching him up soon. Zhang, sorry.
Yeah, we're still on board with Robin at the moment, as he's having closing the gap on Arwin, who's P7 at the moment. So the board's looking quite interesting because you've got the Alpha running P1 with Valmir in the Alpha, Bentz is in the Hyundai for P2, Salvin's in the other Hyundai for P3, you've got Alexander in the Audi for P4, and you've got Sandor in P5 with the other Audi. So we've got 3 different manufacturers up at the top 5 at the moment. So we're going to be on-board footage with Klaus as he's trying to close the gap on Diego again. These guys have been very consistent, with about half a second between them at the moment. Just a jump over to Zhang at the moment, as he's closing the gap with Marcel for P19.
Yeah, it was Marcel that had a little excursion onto the grass, so he's probably still trying to clean his tyres up, which has allowed this train to catch up onto the back of him.
Yeah, so overall some great racing. I said there's been nice groups of cars, you know, right across the grid, you know, having some really good battles at the moment. So just jump with the Ballas because he's closing the gap at the moment with Valentine for P12. So just keep an eye on these guys at the moment. Alwyn's at the moment P8, so it looks like Robin's managed to... Robin's still in P7, sorry. So Kaus is still putting the pressure on Alwyn for P8. So So just on bump on board with Alwyn as he's manages to get the inside line there, makes a bit of contact with Robin.
It's good to see they both managed to continue on okay.
Absolutely.
So, battle for P19 damage is still trying to heat up as there's contact down into turn 1.
Yeah, we just caught that. There was a bit of contact there in turn 1 with Ellison and Emmanuel, P24, P22.
Yeah, it was Ellison that was quite sideways down into turn 1, but I think he managed to regain control of the car just in time not to cause anyone any major problems.
This is it.
Hopefully Emmanuel will, he's lost a little bit of time, but hopefully be able to pull his way back up on the back of this pack here. On P19 downwards.
That's some awesome racing so far, so really good so far. Gaps have sort of opened up a bit, so closest gap at the moment is about 0.5 seconds with Diego that we're on board with at the moment. If you just jump over to Alexander.
It's been great to see the battles all the way down the grid, not just for the top spots. This battle going on for P19 with these 5 or 6 drivers been going on for quite some time now. So is that the checkered flag for Almar there? A great drive to take P1.
So Almar's taken P1. Benson's now grabbed P2. Salva's managed to take P3. Alexander's coming in for P4. Sandor for P5. Lee P6. Robin's taken P7. Alwyn's taken P8. Klaus for P9. We've got Diego for P10.
So do I believe this right, that Diego will be on pole for the grid race?
So yeah, top 10 reverse. Yeah, so Diego will be for top for P1 at the moment. So that's your current standards at the moment for race 1. Race 2 will begin shortly. So race 2 is top 10 reverse. So it would be Diego would be no Jude.
No, that has changed now. I hope he didn't lose one of the drivers.
Hoping not. Looks like one of the drivers did drop out there, but don't know. We'll see. So yeah, this is going to be top 10 reverse. So this is going to be very interesting for Elmar to see how he does well. If he's going to be running in P10 now, so he's got to try and pass all 10 cars to try and get his pole position back.
With the sort of pace he was showing, it's possible for him to do it, but I say passing's it's not the easiest track to pass around, so it'd be interesting to see how much further he can make it up from that P10 starting position.
Absolutely. So this is it. When there's traffic to be fought against, you know, you are going to lose valuable seconds, and the leaders can slowly start to pull away.
Yeah, I think it'll all depend on how well he gets off the line.
This is it. So yeah, so Diego is in P1 at the moment. You've got Klaus P2, Robin's P3, Lee's P4, Sander P5, Alexander P6. So we're just off at the moment. So Klaus is doing well at the moment. Klaus has now managed to take P1. So a little bit of contact there. Looks like one of the cars has just gone wide, but he's managed to bring it back around. So quite a bit of a bumpy start into T1, but no one's come off track at the moment. So it's been pretty interesting so far. Diego's now dropped down to P5. So he started P1, so he's lost 4 positions so far. So lots of battling going on at the moment. We're on board with Sandor at the moment. So Klaus still holding P1, Robin for P2, Salvin's P3 now, Lee's P4. Diego's having a bit of a battle at the moment for P6. So this is where it's going to be a bit of a game changer. So Almore's already managed to get up to P5 so far. He was ready. He got pole for the race 1, so he's going to have a pretty has to do some pretty good driving and try and get past the traffic, and hopefully he can get a second podium today. So far nice and clean, hasn't been too bad. There's a little bit of bumping earlier, but no one really went off track and lost too much time, so which has been pretty good so far. So Ballas is having a little bit of contact there but loses a position, so he's now down to P10 as Jan's just taken P9 off him. So just jump on board with Robin because he's closing the gap on Klaus at the moment for the leader for P1. Almo has now managed to jump up to P3, so from P5. He started P10 from the qualifying because he got pole from race 1. So he's doing pretty well to get himself up there, but he's got quite a bit of gap to close at the moment to try and catch up with Robin and Klaus and hopefully have a good battle later on in the race, and hopefully he grabs P1 back. So just jump on board with Lee at the moment because he's having a bit of a battle with Salvin. So some pretty good racing so far. I've just jumped on board with Lee. Lee's just managed to pass Jan, so that's put him up to P7. I think Jan's just had a bit of contact, so that's dropped him down to P11 now from P7. Brammy's trying to close the gap there on Emmanuel at the moment for P18, P17. Edison's also trying to make the overtake here to grab P14. As he comes in and takes P13 there. Thank you for the follow there. Really appreciate that. So it's been a pretty good race so far. We're going to jump on board with Bentz because he's putting him in a bit of a battle at the moment with Sandor for P5. So the battle at the moment in front for P2, Robin and Klaus, is about 4 tenths between them at the moment. So not too much going on between P1 and P2. Almir, who's in P3, is about 2 seconds off of the leader at the moment. So a small bit of contact there as they come into T2, but Sanders still manages to hold P5. So Sanders gone a little bit wider. Bentz manages to try and has a little bit of contact. Tries to get the inside line as they come up to the chicane. As they go a bit wide in the chicane there, but Sanders still manages to take P5. It looks like Bentz now managed to grab P5 off of Sanders. So again, we're back on board with Robin for P2. He's about just over 4 tenths now between him and Klaus at the moment. So they're having a good battle. Elmore is in P3 at the moment. He's still 2 seconds behind. You just see him in the distance there in the Alpha. So he's still got a bit of work to do. But I mean, if he manages to even hold his P3 position, then he's definitely gets the overall podium of the race for both races. A bit of racing going on between Jan and Valentin at the moment as they come round the final corner. So what's your thoughts so far, Jake? What's your predictions? Do you think Elmar's going to manage to grab P1 in a minute?
With the pace that he's showing the first race, it's definitely possible. He's made a great start of it so far. Hopefully he can continue with that progress and make a bit further up. Unfortunately, I am no longer able to watch the race because I was kicked between the second race start.
Ah, right, interesting. So yeah, so Almore's managed to get the fastest lap of the race so far, 151.9. Robin in P2's managed his fastest lap just a moment ago. We were 152.1. So there is 2 temps between lap times at the moment, with Almar's last lap being invalid. So some freeway battling going on between Alexander, Jan and Valentin at the moment as they come through the chicane. Looks like Robin's losing a few seconds off of Klaus at the moment. He's now down. He was about 3 temps off of P1. He's now down to 5, even 6 temps off him at the moment. As Klaus has just done a faster lap again, so he's managed a 152, almost a 152 dead. With Robin with his last lap of 152.1. Almar's managed almost a 152 dead on the last lap as well, so it's staying very consistent at the moment. Still 2 seconds between Almore and in P3 for Klaus and P1, so not too much going on at the moment. Just going to jump on ball with Ellison because he was trying to make a move there on Alexander. So you see Alexander was trying to play it a bit defensive there, as Elston just try and take the inside line into T2. But it looks like Alexander's got the inside line for T3 there, so Alexander has no where he's there to hold his P12 position. So Sandor's trying to close the gap there with Lee for P6 at the moment. So Robin's managed to close the gap down a bit. It's gone from 0.6 to 0.5 seconds between them. But just at the moment, their lap times are very consistent with very low 152s. So 152s and 152.1s. So looks like we're on ball with Sinor at the moment as he's closing the gap here on Sandor for P7. There's just been a bit of contact there. It looks like Sandor's just gone off into the wall. That's sorry, Sinor at Sinan at the moment. Just gone off into the wall, unfortunately. So, Jake, do you manage to get back into race 2, or are you out at the moment?
I'm afraid I can not join the server 2 if I try to join. Unfortunately, it just takes me to a practice session, so I'm no longer able to see the race.
Oh, that's a shame. Maybe just jump up on Twitch and you might be able to pick up some information then as we're trying to...
Yeah, I'm watching you...
Let's jump on board with Rico at the moment for P20. So he's trying to put the pressure on Derek at the moment. So Derek's now down to P19. So Robin's slowly closing that gap now. He's now down to 3 tenths off of Klaus for P1 at the moment. So some really good racing and very good consistency between these guys so far. So it looks like Sinan has just managed to grab a position there off Alexander. So Zinner's now managed to grab P10, pushing Alexander back to P11. As we're just going to jump back on board with P2 because he's closing that gap again with Klaus with P1. So Elmar's now closed that gap as well. He was just over 2 seconds behind the leader. He's now about 1.2 seconds off the leader now, so he's managed to gain an extra 8 tenths. So Elmar has got a chance to try and fight for P2 at least. So with just over 13.5 minutes to go. So Dirk's trying to make the move on the Toro at the moment, as he's taken the inside line of T1. So at the moment for the top three, we've got an Audi. So Klaus is in the Audi for P1 at the moment. Robin's in the Volkswagen for P2. We've got Elmar in P3 at the moment with the Alpha. Diego's in the Hyundai for P4, and we've got Bence who's in P5 with the other Hyundai. So we've got quite a mixture of manufacturers at the top runners at the moment. So Alexander and Sinan's really having a good battle here as they come through the chicane. So we've got some pretty awesome battling going on so far across the grid. So it looks like Ballas has just managed to jump to take a position off Emmanuel there, and he's managed to grab P14. There's just a bit of a table turn there. So Robin's lost a bit of time. He was in P2. I said he got to 3 tenths off of Klaus. He's now dropped back to 0.6 seconds off of Klaus now. As it looks like we just jumped off Sandor. Unfortunately, that was auto-directed, then just changed that. But Sandor has managed to take P7 so far off Willem. But there's a good hard battle there, as it looks like Willem has managed to take P7 off of Sandor as he pushed him off the track there. So a bit of foul play, I'd say. Jump back to Alexander, because again he's putting the pressure on with Sinan at the moment. So Alexander tries to take the inside line as he comes in, but makes contact, ends up spinning Sandor around, unfortunately. So a bit of dirty driving there, unfortunately, so not really his position he should have had. So that puts Alexander up to P10.
Yeah, it's a shame to see that. It's looks like possibly it was a little bit too late to try and make that move into the chicane there.
Yeah, that was very dirty. Do you want to sort of see that? So
hopefully Sinan didn't lose out too much for that, and he's able to continue racing on.
Well, Sinan's now dropped back the P21 from that, as he obviously got took out there at the chicane. So that's lost him quite a few positions from that.
That's a shame, he's lost quite a bit there.
Yeah. So we're on board with Bence at the moment. He's P5. He's having a bit of a battle here with Diego. So both of these guys in the Hyundais at the moment.
Bence has done a fairly good job from where he started on the grid for race 2, I believe.
That's it, he has. He's done a very good job, yeah. So he started P9. Yeah, P9 I believe he started. So yeah, he's made himself up to P5 so far.
Seeing from what he did in the first race, I'd definitely expect him to make another couple of places before the end of the race. See if he can get himself on the podium.
That's it. So yeah, you can just feel the tyres there really screeching as he's really pushing hard here. Trying to put the pressure on Diego as they come through the chicane.
Diego seems to be taking the pressure quite well though.
He sure is.
So lines are still looking nice and neat and composed. It's not letting the pressure get to him at the moment.
No, not at the moment. So yeah, doing so very well so far. So we could probably get an overtake at some point if this carries on between these two guys. So because Bence is definitely wanting to grab P4 here.
Yeah, he looks hungry for it. See if he can set himself up for something into turn 1.
Exactly. So I'm just keeping on the relatives at the moment because it looks like Elmar, who's in P3, is closing the gap on Robin now. Robin's now down to 1.1 tenth. I'm going to jump over to Elmar at the moment because it looks like Almar's got P2 at the moment. So yeah, Almar's just managed to move up to P2. So that's been pretty good because he started P10 in race 2 because it was top 10 reverse grid. So he's now up to P2, but he's got 1.3 seconds off the leader at the moment. So he's still got quite a bit of time to gain. So, I mean, he's still got the fastest lap of the race with 151.9. Just want to jump over to Diego. It looks like Bence has got P4 at the moment as they come in side by side for T2 and come into P3. So it looks like Bence has managed to hold on to P4 there, pushing Diego back to P5. So I'm going to jump on board with Rico because we're on quite a bit of a five-way battle here at the moment with these guys. So yeah, don't forget to obviously like and subscribe on YouTube, guys, and follow us on Twitch. We are streaming to both platforms. That would be much appreciated. If you've got any questions, do obviously post them in the chats. I'm looking over the Twitch chat, and Jake is looking over the YouTube chat. Excuse me. Chat. I mean, this is family friendly. Anyway, moving on. So Alexander's putting the pressure on Jan at the moment for P10. So this is going to be pretty interesting what's going to happen here. But as from earlier on, unfortunately, where Alexander was really aggressive with Sinan, who ended up taking that position off Sinan and pushing Sinan back to P21, making him lose 11 positions from that, is a bit of an unfair advantage, I'd say. There's a bit of contact there as one of the Audis has just gone wide. So a bit of a change around there as one of the Audis just cut the track there as they come through the T13.
Yeah, it's a slightly aggressive drive.
Magure is in P12 at the moment, closing that gap on Alexander. So they definitely want this.
It's a hell of a pack behind those guys, fighting it out for those positions as well.
It sure is. So some very close racing right across the grid at the moment, and all in their own little packs. So as you see, a group of 4 here, and just in the background you've got another group of 4 or 5 cars. So some really good racing going on so far. Just only a couple of minor dirty manoeuvres by the odd driver. So
yeah, the most we've seen up till now has been very clean, hasn't it?
It has indeed, yeah. So these 3 guys here are having a really good battle at the moment with Dirk and Rico.
Dirk makes a little mistake there. He lost a position coming through the crested left-hander there, and also it seems a little contact from behind.
This is it.
They still managed to carry on.
So some pretty good racing so far with these guys. There's one of the Hyundais just gone wide there, but managed to come back in. But he's made contact with the Audi. So I believe that was Rico then, who just made a bit of contact.
Rico was able to gain that position, I believe, was he?
That's it. So I'm going to jump over with Emmanuel at the moment, because again, he's closing the gap on Rico at the moment. And we've got another Emmanuel on P16. So okay, this is a group, quite big group of cars here. Got 6 of them racing for position at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of the few Hondas that we've seen in the grid, and not quite as many of the Hondas.
That's it. So just to give you guys a bit of heads up at the moment, Elmar in P2 did manage to get just under a 1 second gap between him and P1 at the moment, but it's just jumped back up to about 1.3 seconds so far. Robin in P3 is about just under a second now, 9/10 behind P2, so it looks like Elmar's doing pretty well at the moment in P2 at the moment. So going to jump on board with Alexander. There's a bit of little bit of contact there into T1 between him and Jan, so Alexander's having a bit of a battle there between with Jan trying to fight for P10. So yeah, these cars are really good to drive. I mean, if you guys don't own these cars yet, head over to RaceRoom. I'll definitely go and look at grabbing some RaceRoom vouchers, VRPs. So you can get the content a lot cheaper by doing it that way. And you can pick up this whole pack. Was it 900 VRPs, which is about
960 VRPs.
960 VRPs. So yeah, so that works out quite a bit cheaper than buying it, you know, with real money. So yeah, do that, guys, because these cars are really good fun to drive, and as you can see from these esports drivers, there isn't much in it between the manufacturers, so it puts up some really good racing. And us at Redline Motorsports, so we do some races here in RaceRoom with these touring cars, and they are some really good racing with door to door. Yeah, pretty much door to door racing throughout the whole race.
Yeah, throughout the whole pack, there's been some very close battles and all done very cleanly as well. It's interesting to see that Elmar has got that gap down to just about a second now from where he started on the grid. That is such a good drive he's done.
Absolutely.
He was able to get the lead from there. That would be some remarkable drive.
Managed to take the overtake there on Ballas, who's now put him down to P13. I just jumped back because the camera's just changed, but if Dirk can keep hold of the inside line here, he's definitely managed to keep P13, so he's managed to gain an extra position, which he has done. So yeah, some good driving there, but it looks like Dirk has lost his rear bumper somewhere.
Doesn't seem to be costing him too much speed though.
That's it, so I'll just jump onto the leader. Don't go to give him much time because there's not much happening with him. He's been pretty happy by himself, but Elmar has now managed to close that gap a bit more. He's now 8/10 off of him, so only a minute to go, so I don't think there's going to be much chance of him grabbing pole, but listen, he managed to get P1 in race 1, so he's going to be pretty happy overall with P2, especially with a top 10 reverse grid order, so he's done very, very well there.
Yeah, he'll be one to keep an eye on for the rest of the championship for sure.
Absolutely, so it looks like we'll have one more lap to go once the leader crosses the finish line.
He has managed to bring it down another 3 or 4 tenths that lap, so he could manage to get himself a little bit closer to the leader.
This is it.
So
yeah,
whether the leader is going to push it all out on his final lap.
It could well be, but we've got to understand there's 25 minutes into the race with these cars, especially on this track. I mean, tyre wear, when we was doing tests of these cars, you know, the tyre wear does drop off quite significantly.
Yeah, will he be willing to go all out to try and push for that P1? He's had such a good first couple of races. Be happy to just maybe back off now and take the points, but it doesn't look like he's happy to back off. I think he's still hungry to see if he can push the leader into a possible mistake.
Yeah, quite possibly, but he is closing the gap a bit more now. He's now managed to get an extra 10th down, so there's half a second between them at the moment. But the thing is it going to be enough?
And that's it. I think he's going to want a mistake from this point out, but the leader's looked really calm and composed so far. Been very reliable since the start of the race.
This is it. So he has now gained another 10th at the moment, so I don't think there's going to be any chance of an overtake, and like I said, unless the leader makes a big mistake in the last couple of corners. But overall, the pace of Elmar here has been absolutely phenomenal. So we go from P10 down to P2 and eventually catch up with P1. He's done an incredible job with his consistency.
Yeah, given a bit more time,
come
maybe
around
he
the
could have
last
got
corner
it.
now. So Klaus
Great
looks
job.
like he's going to be coming in for the pole position for race 2. So congratulations, Klaus. Elmar's managed to grab P2. Robin's coming
Great
over the
try
line
by
for
both.
P3. Bence is now coming over the line for P4. So that's brilliant. Diego's coming over the line for P5. Lee for P6. Williams coming over for P7. Valentine for P8. Sandor's coming over for P9. Alexander's just coming around the last corner here for P10. He managed to grab P10. Jan's now managed to get P11. Maggior's managed to get P12. Dirk for P13. Alex for P14. Lutoro for P15. Rico P16. Emmanuel P17. And we've got the other Manuel for P18. Elson for P19. Sinan for P20. Avellino for P21, and we've got the other Bents there for P22. So some awesome racing from these guys.
Yeah, it's been a great point race to watch throughout the whole pack.
Absolutely. So we'll just wait for the race finish and get the final standing. So there we are. That's the final standings there. So it says Klaus managed to get P1. Almore for P2, Robin managed to get P3, Bence for P4, Diego for P5. So yeah, thanks for coming and watching the stream, guys. It's been absolutely awesome to commentate this Esports server 2 for RaceRoom. So thank you for that as well, RaceRoom, for letting us do this. Obviously, don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. Much appreciated. Obviously, we will be doing more commentary over our races as well at Redline Motorsport. Yeah, if you haven't obviously signed up to our community, do head to our website www.redlinemotorsport.co.uk. You can register to races. We do a lot of races through for RaceRoom and all those sort of places. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for coming along, guys. Appreciate you joining us for the stream, and we will see you again soon. Cheers.